Welcome to Movies Recapped. In the 1993 film The Crush, journalist Nick Elliot rents a guesthouse owned by the Forrester family. Darian, their teenage daughter, becomes infatuated with Nick and begins pursuing him relentlessly. Nick tries to maintain a platonic relationship, but Darian's obsession intensifies. She vandalizes his car, manipulates his work, and even orchestrates false accusations against him. As Darian's behavior escalates, Nick finds himself fighting for his life and reputation against a dangerously delusional young girl. Let's dive in. Journalist Nick Elliot, Cary Elwes, drives to the suburbs of Seattle, Washington after being unable to find a suitable apartment. He comes across a sign advertising a guest house available for rent, owned by Liv and Cliff Forrester, Gwynyth Walsh and Kurtwood Smith, who are frequent business travelers. Nick quickly agrees to rent the property and begins renovating it. His presence catches the attention of the Forresters' 14-year-old daughter, Darian, Alicia Silverstone. On his first day at Peak magazine, Nick faces reprimands and assignments of mundane stories. Despite this inhospitable start, things begin looking up when Darian pays him a visit in his guesthouse to learn more about his current investigation. Nick is subsequently surprised with a gift from Darian the next morning, while in the shower, to attend her parents' party. Even though he is somewhat reluctant to accept, Nick winds up finding the gathering a bit overwhelming with its well-off guests. Seeking out Darian, he understands she has sneaked into his guesthouse and changed one of his articles, something that earned Nick much respect from his boss. Amidst these varied and intense situations, Nick begins to learn that not everything is always as it seems, and it can be tough to navigate through unexpected situations without support. At Darian's insistence, Nick accompanies her to a coastal lighthouse and forgives her for intruding on his personal space. Darian confides in him about her difficulty in making friends due to skipping grades in school. She unexpectedly kisses him, but he resists and urges them to go back home. Despite Darian's constant presence causing distractions, Nick manages to form a friendship with his colleague, Maddik, Jennifer Rubin. During a weekend barbecue, Amy becomes worried about Darian's evident infatuation with Nick. After receiving a mysterious phone call from Darian, Nick begins searching for her inside the main house. In her room, he discovers a heart-shaped pillow embroidered with their initials and hides in the closet as Darian undresses for a shower, unaware that she is aware of his presence. On his way out of the house, he encounters Cliff, who asks for help in carrying some boxes to the attic. There, Cliff proudly showcases a reconstructed carnival carousel, which he has lovingly prepared as a childhood toy for Darian. Nick finds himself in a difficult situation when he tries to explain to Darian that he only wants a platonic relationship with her. His past voyeuristic behavior comes back to haunt him when Darian reminds him of it. To make matters worse, Nick suspects Darian of vandalizing his car and confronts the Forresters about it. However, Darian denies any involvement, and her parents trust her word over Nick's. Following this incident, Darian's only friend, Cheyenne, Benson, requests to speak with Nick after her horse riding lesson. Feeling suspicious, Darian improperly adjusts Cheyenne's saddle, causing her to fall and break her arm. While preparing for an important work presentation, Nick realizes that his computer files have been deleted. Furthermore, he stumbles upon a hidden room in the garage that Darian had constructed as a candlelit shrine dedicated to him. Focused on reworking his presentation, Nick disregards numerous phone calls from Darian and decides to change the locks. He also arranges to move to a new apartment, but the landlady informs him that the new place will not be available until the following week. As their friendship develops into something more passionate, Amy brushes off Darian's inquiries regarding their sexual activities. Later, Darian confines Amy to her own darkroom and swarms her with wasps in the ventilation fans, forcing her to go to the hospital. Darian brags to Cheyenne about how Amy's accident brought them closer together at her horse riding competition. After that, she interrupts a fundraiser for Peak magazine by impersonating Nick's resentful girlfriend and causing a scene. Nick learns that Darian ruined his new flat lease by telling the landlord that he is a drug dealer, which makes his bad luck even worse. He is detained for sexually assaulting a youngster when he gets home. Darian claims to have been beaten by him, and the police officer questioning her tells Nick they have proof she was sexually assaulted. Even the police don't trust Nick over Darian, despite Nick's theory that Darian staged the incident by grabbing a used condom from his trash can. Nick posts his bail, returns home, and gathers his belongings to leave before being legally accused. Cheyenne suddenly shows up and informs Nick that Darian poisoned Rick, a camp counselor, after he turned down her advances for romance. Cheyenne exits, and Darian enters the main home quietly. Nick crosses the garden to look for Cheyenne after hearing music coming from the other side. He goes up to Darian's chamber, which is embellished with another shrine and a message that says, "Please forgive me." Darian knocks him over the balcony after attacking him with a gardening implement. However, just as she is about to murder him, Darian's parents get home, and the girl escapes to the attic. After slowly regaining consciousness, Nick finds Cheyenne bound to the carousel. Darian leaps out of the shadows and punches Nick once more while yelling till Cliff arrives. Nick smacks Darian in the face, knocking her across the room after Darian knocks her father out. Later, when Nick and Amy move into a new flat, Darian writes him remorseful letters from a mental hospital where she has a crush on her compassionate doctor. This suggests that Darian's obsession with a potential new boyfriend or victim will begin all over again.